Hi there, welcome back to the channel. So, got a brand new tune to work on. So the usual protocol for me doing these one-man band Zoom R24s is got to work up the tune, you know, and then once you get the song together, you've got to get an arrangement. And I don't have a complete arrangement, I don't have complete lyrics, but I like to debut the tune as soon as I can get it together enough to play it, you know, live and, you know, demonstrate the song itself. And then I want to start working on it, because if I sit around and wait till it's perfect, it may be months from now before I start recording this thing. So lately, once I get the song like somewhat roughed in, I'm going to start on it. And I know I'll probably want to change arrangements later, but all of this is just demo recordings on my Zoom R24. It can be re-recorded later if I get cool ideas as time goes on. Right now I'm trying to foresee the future and come up with arrangements that I like, that are cool, that will stand the test of time. So this one is called The Lover, and I'd written a song on this record called The Fighter, and that one was kind of like a, you know, man of the people, supporting the little guy or whatever, and it had like apolitical. It was like a, you know, like a populist type, you know, man of the people, kind of like Working Class Hero by John Lennon. That would be an inspiration. And so then this song is like the lover, you know, the opposite of the fighter. Because the fighter's not a fighter, he's there to help the people, and the same thing with the lover. And I'd written this song, so it's like, you know, a bookend thing for the record. Fighter, lover, two sides of the personality, the dichotomy of man and all that. And I thought that would be kind of a cool little theme to have in the record when this one kind of popped out, sounding the way it sounded. So I got fighter and lover. Now, the way I usually set this up, and I want to just maybe have one more tune, and I want to wrap this record and move on, like get it controlled into one unit. Even if that means you know, recording more material right away, I want to at least know that, okay, I've got the record now, so that, like, you know, by the end of the summer or something, I'll be pretty close to having it finished, like mixed and mastered, all the tunes done. That would be a good goal. And then, you know, start on the next one, but at least close this one off, because right now this is the third song that have kind of had this vibe, and I'm digging it. So I'm trying to just ride that wave and keep building the record that way. Now, what I do with the Zoom is you're going to turn it on, obviously. And I've already done this, but the way to start this whole thing up, if you haven't seen any of these videos, or if you're new to the Zoom, okay, so what I did is I went to Project. So you're going to click on Project, and when you go to, it'll say New or Select, you're going to hit New. And then it'll give you a name, like it'll be PRJ00 something, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. But I don't want to name it that, so I'm going to hit the Enter button. And then it says mine says PRJ003. So I changed that to THELOVR for the lover, and that's all that is all that would, you know, hold in that space. And once you have your, you know, and you use the little wheel to set that up. And once you get all that set up, you're going to hit your Enter button, and then it'll ask you if you want to, you know, continue the setting that you had before from the last track. And if you like the way that was set up, you can continue. Usually I just reset it, because, you know, I'm going to do something different, and I don't want to be stuck with all the weird parameters that I had on the other one with this one. And then you come down to Execute, and you hit Enter. Okay, so I already did it, and it's called The Lover. It says THLOVR. Not THE, but THLOVR. I think I said THE earlier. The full article is not in the title, just the TH. Okay, and then I arm it, and I think I chose an effect, because this is where I will record this kind of blueprint of the tune, which will be, sorry about that sniffing, the beat PM. I'll decide on that, and I'll run a metronome, and I'll have the whole song, the full arrangement, all recorded from the guitar plugged directly in, so I don't have to worry about miking or anything. Once I get that, and it's on the metronome, then it's onto the drums, guitars, bass, and finally vocal, and then mix and master. So this is the first leg in the marathon that is recording a, sorry, no more sniffing, recording a one-man, you know, tune. So let me show you. The song will probably be recorded with this amp, and I always might use this amp because it's amazing and you can do leads and stuff on it, but usually the bulk of the heavy stuff like the rhythm chording and riffing I'll do on this amp because it just sounds bigger. The main reason being this one actually has more watts than this one. This one's 22 watts. This is 18 watts. I mean, they're pretty close, but it actually officially has more watts than this one. The reason this one's bigger, gnarlier, louder is a slight difference in the circuit. This is a Fender circuit. Most of these early Marshall circuits, this is an early Marshall circuit taken from the Watkins Dominator British amp. And this is an unusual amp for Marshall, this type of circuit. And it was not very popular for long because people wanted more power and more speakers. But what I've discovered is putting it on top of big speakers makes it sound big, and it's amazing. You get all the natural amp breakup. It has EL84s in it instead of EL34s, and the EL84 is like my favorite British sounding tube. This has 6V6s, so you get like a cleaner, rounder tone. This one is like a tighter, more almost like box. You know, it's kind of like almost like the Brian May tone, almost like Angus Young tone. If you roll it back just a little bit, you get like Angus Young tone, or Jimmy Page tone, even like plexi tone. And then if you turn it all the way up, you just get like gnarly. It's almost like a, you know, just overdrive pedals on. It's awesome. I don't even use any pedals with either amp. I mean, I could with this one maybe, but I don't typically. This one's cleaner sounding, but if I plug my Les Paul in, it's as gnarly as this one. This one only has one speaker. It's an American ceramic bag speaker, the original Oxford that came with it, with the Fender logo. And those speakers aren't made to be super tight. It's like a different tone. So they're completely different setups with the similar circuitry and similar overall sound. So I usually use this one, and this has a sealed cab with 4x12, so it's just, this is just the 1x12, you know, open. And this one has Celestions, which is a completely different speaker design. It's much more sturdy design than the Jensen or the Oxford that gives you like that American tone. So both of them are awesome. They just serve different purposes for me. And I love both amplifiers. So let me just play all of the riffing that's involved in the tune. Let me just play that in the 18 watt, and then I'll do the demo of the tune in the Deluxe so you'll be able to hear my voice better. All right, let's see what happens. Here's the riff, here's the whole song, just the music, and then I'll switch to actually singing something so you can hear what the entire tune sounds like. Another little section, it's like a, I'll just tell you in a second. So that is all the riff. Now let's plug it into the Deluxe, and I'll sing you the melody. I'll attempt to. The song's kind of hard to sing along to, mainly because it's new for me, and I don't usually sing along to that much riffing. Usually I'm playing like chords. So I'm basically a rhythm guitar player typically, but I'm trying to move out of that and get into some of this action because it's way more exciting, you know. That's where I want to head. More guitar, more action, not less guitar and more lame. All right, so here we go. Let's see how well I can pull this off. It's not going to be easy. And the thing I'll tell you is that I'm going to be tweaking every element, every bit of the melody out of this. So right now, if it doesn't sound like much, trust me, I can tell that the song has got something. So I'm going to build it up. So if it sounds like nothing's happening, something's going to happen by the time it's all done. I'm just still working through the melodies and trying to figure out where, you know, all the little things I'm going to do vocally. So what happens is I sort of sing low, like a Bowie type three-line verse. Then I have this kind of moment where I'm going to go. And then move to the chorus. And then after the chorus, you go back to the riff. And then later, there's like a middle eight section that's... And that middle eight section, my new trick is I got to have a killer verse, right? That melody's got to be solid. Got to have the best chorus you can come up with, because that's the most important part, probably, if you're writing like pop music or like music like this that's singable, you know, sing-alongable music. And then finally, I like to have a third part, like a middle eight or almost like a second chorus that could stand almost alone as its own chorus, you know, try to beat the chorus with a second chorus. So that's my new trip, is the last 3 songs have to have that element in order to make it, you know, to the actual recording phase. And it still could get dumped. I dumped like 3 songs earlier this, or late last year on the channel. I worked really hard. I had this 3-song block of like cool songs, I thought, and each one of them just ended up being a pain in the ass. It was like something was off with it, it just didn't feel right. And then I got to the point where I just couldn't stand listening to them anymore. And I was like, well, if I don't like them, nobody's going to like them, so what's the point? And it was a good exercise, but you have to know when to let something die and move on. And that's what I did. All right, so got this baby cranked up, and it's going to sound different, more bluesy, more American. I love it. It's just different. You know, this one sounds more like, and this one's more just different. All right, so enough of my yak, and let's see if I can pull this off. All right, here we go. All right, take 2. all the elements. We've got the main, like, dinosaur stomp. Hold on. I know, hello, hi, hi, hello, hello, I'm low. So there's some neat things I can do, you know. And that's not the arrangement at all. I goofed up what little arrangement I'd worked out. But the main thing is, like, we got this main riff, the little dinosaur stomp. So that's the main verse. You got that boom, and then this little pull off deal. I'm like hitting this with my finger, quarter bend, and then a hammer on. And then just to slide down to listen to these amazing Lawler pickups. Listen to this. Back to the octave chords, and you got to be careful with these octave chords because you'll hear it in like Red Hot in the mainstream world, the big time, you know, radio world that's repetitively played it for all of us over and over and over again 1,000 times. You'll hear Red Hot Chili Pepper tone in there and Smashing Pumpkins, because both those guys are really good guitar players and followed the Hendrix way and got inspired. So you have to be careful and be creative, or otherwise you'll sound like a little baby copycat, you know, so be careful. All right, so that's what's happening in the chorus, is those octave chords. And then finally, that third part is another, it's kind of a reprise of the bit that goes. So now you do that once and then you just stay there and play the chord. It's just a bar on the 12th fret. That all up, my strumming pattern was off and I blew the riff, but that's the idea of that part. And I don't know exactly where I would put in, as you can see the song's really early, I'm not sure where I would put in like any kind of lead riff too, like if it would be on top of that, or if I would play the by itself and then add something in, but probably not. I would probably come in with the guitar by itself, so I wouldn't have that riff going with another part on top of it. It'd be too. You want it to sound like one. I want it to sound like one guitar is playing the whole thing. Even if I come in and out with different parts, I don't want it to sound like, you know, a bunch of guitars going off at the same time. All right, so I think that covers the idea of it. Let me see if I can quickly illustrate what I have in mind for drums. Now I'm thinking, man, this song doesn't even sound like anything yet. And I hope you can hear what's coming, that there's something there. I just have to, you know, work it up. But it sounds a little bit like nothing's going on. You know, whenever I play these back, I'm like, well, there's not much to that song. You thought you had a song, but sorry, I'm trying to get these. I'll just worry about earplugs later. So you're trying to get the song together and you think it's pretty good, and then when you start to play it, it exposes it, you know. But I'm confident I have some strong melodies in there and that can continue to be, you know, coaxed to develop them further. All right, so I was thinking of something along the lines of this for drumming. Sorry, this may take me a minute to get back here and climbing in without trying to kill myself on camera. All right, so I was thinking snare first, then bass drum to start it, that weird little riff that blah boom, blah boom, boom, wow, now, now. So it'd be like. Sorry, early to that one too, but you get the idea. It's like ba boom, boom, ba, a boom, boom, a ba boom. Main beat would be something like this. Sorry, it's just working it out. You got to repeat it every time you come down with the snare first. It's like. So that would be about ghost notes and just nailing it, you know, and making it, giving it some personality. And then figuring out the fills. But I can't really get crazed on drums until I get the arrangement just right and you know, put it down. But you heard the song and the way I'm going to record it. I just got to get that arrangement finished. Sorry. See if I can get out of here without knocking everything over. I just got to get that arrangement done so then I can sit down, record on the Zoom, go back there for a couple days and just get that drum part nailed. And then it's off to the races with recording everything else. Okay, so what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh yeah, got some cool projects coming up while I'm waiting for this to get ready. I'm going to work on a few guitar things, and then I got a really awesome project that I'm going to do on the channel that I'm excited about for all of those who are interested in DIY guitar stuff. And I think this is potentially a new thing that could really, you know, inspire me in a major way. But I'm going to build a Telecaster B-bender guitar, and using the Gene Parsons bender, and I'm stoked about it because I've been wanting to build a Telecaster for a while, kind of like the way I built this one. Fender neck, some kind of cool body, and then this one you got to get it routed or buy one that's routed for the B-bender. But I've gotten obsessed with B-bending. And some of those old, you know, country and jazzy kind of bluesy riffs that you do where you do the Clarence White thing. So always a huge Byrds fan. For some reason, that style of guitar playing has really started to appeal to me again, and to incorporate it into my stuff would be really interesting. So that's what's got me going right now. But I'm not quite ready to start assembling it because, you know, it's a big thing to get involved in. I really want to stay focused on finishing this record before I get all crazed with because those usually make me nuts, you know. It's like, makes me crazy doing it. I get all whacked out and it's distracting. All right, thanks so much for hanging out and listening to this crazy tune. And, you know, hopefully it'll help other people just start working on their stuff. Who cares what other people think? Just do it. Next time.